Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2012 Buick Regal GS. Up front is a 2.0 liter turbocharged inline 4 and down below is a 6-speed manual transmission. Now I'm excited to be driving this here Buick Regal GS for two reasons. First of all, it's a manual turbocharged Buick that's actually an Opel. For you European viewers, you might be looking at this Buick and saying, Buick? No, that's an Opel. My dad has one, my brother had one, my sister had one. Here in the US, we don't have the Opel badge. We did for a very short time in the 70s with the Opel GT, but we don't have it anymore. So this is a Buick to us, but an Opel to you. The second reason is the fact that I just drove a Buick Grand National from 1987, and so it's good to be back in a turbocharged Buick. Before we get on with the rest of the video, if you are looking to help out the channel, there are a couple links in the description below from our awesome sponsors. One of which is Cash for Cars if you're looking to sell your used car. One is from Fixed, a Bluetooth OBD2 sensor to help diagnose your vehicle, and another from Conplates. Conplates is a suction cup license plate mount for your vehicle in case you don't want to drill into your front bumper. Each purchase or quote goes towards helping the channel, and it's greatly appreciated, so let's get on with the video. So before we get back to the engine, let's talk about what the GS package is. Well, it's just that. It's a 2.0 liter turbocharged inline 4. It's a 6-speed manual transmission, as well as it gets Brembo brakes, and it gets a lot of the bells and whistles like Harman Kardon speakers and leather standard, which is very, very nice. It's a very nice trim of the Buick Regal, and it's definitely the sportiest and the one to pick. But let's get back to that 2.0 liter turbo under the hood. I'll put the horsepower and torque up on the screen. It's not a monster. It's not anything that's going to rip your face off at a stoplight. However, it does put the work on quite a few cars, and it's quicker than you'd think. Like I said, paired to its 6-speed manual transmission, shifts actually really, really well. I'm very used to American cars having terrible shifter feel. The Aero, the Mustang, Camaro, they normally don't have very good shifting feel, but this actually feels quite good. Is it because this car was manufactured in Germany? Maybe, but it actually feels really good. Clutch is really nice. It's very light. The engagement is super easy. And overall, the actual manual driving experience is really good. Really, really good. And I don't expect that from Buick. I expect Buick to have lazy automatics that are really just meant to get you to and from the eye doctor, but not this. Last but not least, of course, the Regal GS is front wheel drive. So let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. On the left is my tachometer. Then in the center, I get coolant temperature and fuel, and on the right, I get my speedometer. I do get a little customizable gauge in the center as well, which is very nice and very useful. On the steering wheel on the left, I have my cruise control options, and on the right, I have my voice commands, volume, and things like that. The steering wheel itself looks very, very nice. It looks sporty, has this perforated leather on the outside, and I really, really enjoy the feeling of it. To the left of me, I have headlights, and on the door, I have my power mirrors and power windows. Moving into the center, I do have a little infotainment screen, sort of. Very, very basic here, very mid-2000s for GM. This looks like a work truck Silverado radio. Then down into the center, we have a bunch of buttons, mostly for the radio, but I do have a GS and Sport button. So these buttons make the car feel and drive in a lot sportier of a fashion, mainly with throttle response and a little bit of suspension. One interesting thing that the GS button does as well is that it actually changes the gauge cluster color from blue, normally, to white. So you can see the lettering a little bit better. The idea behind this is if you're driving fast, quick glances down at your speed, it's going to be easier with the color white instead of the color blue. That's why back in the 90s, it was a really big thing to do white-faced gauge clusters. To the left of that, I do have a push to start button, and this is going to start the issues with the car that I have. I don't like the push to start. I know it's modern, I know it's what Buick was doing at the time, but in a manual car, push to start is still kind of weird to me, but I can get used to it, okay? You know what? Fine, I can get used to it. We'll talk about a little bit later on, there's a button that I can't get used to. Moving on to the lower part of the center console, which is the climate controls. I do have dual zone, which is great, and I get heated seats here in the GS. Again, a very, very nice feature. Then I get a little 12-volt outlet that's hidden away by a little garage door with an ashtray. And then we have the shifter itself. I think the shifter looks great, but the more and more I look at it, the more European it really looks. I mean, this is a European car, whether you like it or not, no matter what badge is on the front. Then I have a little coin tray and my power parking brake. This is the other power feature that I really hate and I can't get used to. Because this is a manual car, I'm using my right arm a lot. I'm shifting, it's engaging my muscles, you know? I'm doing the work, I'm rowing the boat. And so you get in the car and you push the clutch down with your left foot and you put it in gear with your right arm, and then you turn the little parking brake off. You know? That's just how I feel about that. It's just not satisfying. When you hit it, there's a little light on the dash that makes sure that you know that you're in park, and if you have your seatbelt on and you put it into gear, it will automatically take the parking brake off, which I guess is a nice feature in case you forget, but just give me a physical one. Put a little chrome little piece up at the top if you're really worried about how it's gonna look, but just give me something. Then we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test here in the Buick Regal GS, and it fails the big friggin' bottle test. No surprise there. American cars tend to not, unless it's a Tahoe or an F-150. Now, the seats are nice and comfortable. I am pleasantly enjoying them. They are a little bit more aggressive than what you would think out of a Buick. However, I'm a big guy and I still fit in them, which is all I can ask for. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2012 Buick Regal GS. The back seat, well, first of all, my head's hitting the ceiling and I'm 5'11". For the size of this car, it's a little obscene to have the back seat be so small. However, it's made up for the fact that the seats are super hard. They're really uncomfortable. Now, the owner, Michael, did tell me that the back seats have almost never been sat in, ever. So maybe you could kind of chop that up a little bit to being not broken in, but still. I do have a center console with 2 cup holders and a little storage cubby back here. Nothing really too crazy, although it's kind of flimsy, kind of GM plasticky. Whatever. I don't love the back seats. I do think this is kind of a downside of the Regal GS, but it is what it is sometimes. Let's go take a quick look at the trunk, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the Buick Regal GS from 2012. I do have a trunk button on the key, which is really nice, and the trunk is a pretty good size. Not too bad, not amazing, but this is a big American car, so it is what it is. That's pretty much it. Now we gotta talk about the looks. And first of all, the first thing I always notice with these cars is that they come with factory 20-inch wheels. 20 inches from the factory. And they look great. I love the design of them. I love the look of them. I also like the slightly sportier accents that the GS gets, bigger fog lights and things like that. I don't know. I think altogether, this actually is a really, really handsome car. And I quite enjoy looking at it. But now let's get to my final thoughts here on the Buick Regal GS. Well, I already said that I dislike the keyless start and I really dislike the power parking brake. But other than that, I can't really find much else wrong with this car. I love the power that you get. It's not too much, it's not too little. It's the Goldilocks of engines. It has blow-off noises. The shifting feels great. The steering feels great. The size of the car is pretty good. And yet, I still don't care about this car. Because I like it. I really do. But whenever someone asks me, hey, I want a fun manual car that's turbo, this doesn't ever come to mind. I forgot this car existed up until I filmed this video, and when I go home tonight, I'm gonna forget about it again. It's the amnesia of cars. No one is going to remember this car all that much. At least here in America as a Buick. Maybe that's the fault of it. Maybe because it has the Buick badge, people here in America just kind of write off Buicks. It's an old guy car. My grandpa had a Buick. My aunt has a Buick. Whatever it might be. You just don't associate Buick with fun cars anymore. And this is a fun car. This is a diamond in the rough. It's sad because this car is going to get forgotten by history here in America. In 30 years, when gasoline cars are probably going to be pretty obsolete, we're going to look back on all the turbo 4-cylinder cars. We're going to make lists. Jalopnik's going to write an article about what it was like to own a gasoline car, and it's going to list every good gas car. And even though this is good, it's not going to make the list because the writers are just gonna forget about it. Everyone forgets about the Regal GS, no matter how good it is. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Michael for letting me take out his Buick Regal GS. This thing is absolutely awesome. I really do love this car. I would own one of these. You know, if I found a clean one, I would definitely buy one, but I would keep waking up every morning like an Alzheimer's patient of like, what is that? Oh yeah, Regal GS, duh. But anyway, thank you so much to Michael for letting me review it. His Instagram is in the description below, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.